but you gonna stop playing on my top. Now, y'all know it's more than people in there. I'm tiptoed down. Like, I'm on it down, stay solid. They hit it. Only go slowly, quick, and pray to. I mean, young, the G just hated my life.
At some point after the fact, the state wants to take a profit from you or have a discussion with you, ask you some questions about whatever that decides to flip and become a cheesy. How did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless.
The courtroom was dead silent until it wasn't. Cameras weren't allowed inside. But according to multiple jaw-dropping eyewitness accounts, YNW Melly, the rapper already facing the fight of his life, erupted in a way nobody could have predicted. It happened when his longtime friend and co-defendant YNW Bortlen opened his mouth on the stand. For years, fans speculated whether loyalty or survival would win out. And now, the answer is here, with Melly reportedly screaming in disbelief as Bortlen's words turned into what can only be described as courtroom betrayal. Imagine this. One of your closest allies, the guy who rode with you through the come-up, the fame, and the scandals, suddenly flipping the entire narrative in front of a judge. Witnesses claim Bortlen's voice cracked as he gave details that prosecutors had been chasing for years, details that could completely destroy Melly's defense. And Melly, they say he shouted so loud that guards had to restrain him, the sound echoing through the chamber like something out of a movie scene. The shocking twist is that this wasn't just a casual slip-up. Insiders are calling it a strategic snitch move, carefully timed to protect Bortlen at Melly's expense. Fans are already torn apart online, with some saying this is the end of YNW as a family, while others believe Melly still has cards to play. But one thing's certain, hip-hop just witnessed a betrayal of biblical proportions. And here's the kicker, the testimony isn't even over yet. Reports say there's more to come, and what happens next could bury careers, friendships, and lives forever. The story of YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen is one of brotherhood, loyalty, fame, and now, betrayal so deep it could shake the very foundation of hip-hop culture. To truly understand the magnitude of what just went down in that courtroom, you've got to rewind all the way back to how these two young men rose together, and why the sight of Melly screaming in shock and rage hit so hard back before the platinum plaques, viral hits, and legal headlines. YNW was more than just a crew, it was a family. Melly, Bortlen, and their closest circle grew up together in Gifford, Florida. They were kids with big dreams, trying to escape the traps of the streets through music. They weren't just friends. They were brothers in arms, the type of bond that fans thought was unbreakable. When Melly's breakout track Murder on My Mind caught fire, it wasn't just his success. It was their success. Bortlen was right there beside him. Part of the rise, part of the brand, part of the dream. The two moved as a unit, and for years, fans saw them as inseparable. That bond was cemented further when Melly faced charges that would make headlines worldwide. The 2018 double murder of YNW Juvie and YNW Sacuser. From the jump, Melly's case wasn't like any other. The prosecutors didn't just go after him, they pointed fingers at his entire inner circle. And right there with him was Bortlen, facing his own legal battles tied to the same night that shook the YNW legacy. From the outside, it looked like the classic us against the world scenario. Melly and Bortlen holding the line, fighting the accusations, refusing to let the courts break them. But here's the thing, time changes people. And pressure? Pressure changes everything. Melly sat behind bars for years awaiting trial. His name dragged through endless headlines, his songs dissected as evidence, his career frozen in time. Fans rallied behind him, screaming "Free Melly," while his lawyers fought to delay the inevitable. Meanwhile, Bortlen had moments of freedom, only to be pulled back into the system again, facing charges of his own. The loyalty seemed unshakable. Whenever Bortlen hit the streets, he repped YNW proudly, keeping Melly's name alive. Whenever interviews came up, he dodged incriminating questions, sticking to the script. But behind the scenes, whispers began. Insiders said the prosecutors had one goal: break the bond between Melly and Bortlen. Divide and conquer. If they could get one to flip, the other would crumble. At first, nobody believed it. Bortlen would never, fans said. They're brothers, and for years that seemed to hold true. Until now, because in that Florida courtroom, with reporters waiting outside and the world watching every update online, Bortlen finally cracked. Sources claim he looked nervous, eyes darting between the judge and the jury, before delivering testimony that prosecutors had been chasing for years. And that's when it happened. Melly, realizing his right-hand man had just crossed an unthinkable line, screamed. Not a simple objection, not a quiet word to his lawyer, but a raw, guttural scream that echoed through the entire chamber. And it makes sense why he lost control. This wasn't just another witness. This wasn't just another enemy taking the stand. This was Bortlen, someone Melly once called family. Someone who stood on stage with him. Someone who carried the YNW name like a badge of honor. The betrayal cuts even deeper when you remember how much Melly had already lost. YNW Juvie and YNW Sacuser, two of his closest friends, were gone. His freedom was already dangling by a thread. And now, as if fate hadn't punished him enough, the one person who was supposed to stand firm at his side decided to talk. But here's where the story gets even darker. Reports suggest that Bortlen's testimony wasn't some spontaneous outburst. Prosecutors allegedly offered him a deal: lighter sentencing, reduced charges, maybe even a shot at freedom down the line in exchange for telling the truth. Whether that truth is fact or fiction doesn't even matter in the court of public opinion. The moment Bortlen spoke, the narrative shifted. Suddenly, he wasn't just a co-defendant. He was a snitch. Fans immediately jumped online. Memes flooded Twitter. TikTok edits showed Melly's old lyrics about loyalty and betrayal now cut together with headlines about Bortlen's testimony. Instagram comments on Bortlen's page were filled with snake emojis and accusations. "You sold out your brother. YNW ain't no family no more. This is worse than Tekashi." And while fans tore him apart, insiders whispered that this was only the beginning. That what Bortlen said in court today was just the first drop, and that prosecutors had more questions lined up, hoping to dig deeper, expose more, and completely dismantle Melly's defense. So here's the question haunting everyone now. Why did Bortlen do it? Was it pure survival? Was it fear of spending the rest of his life behind bars? Or was it something deeper: resentment, jealousy, secrets between him and Melly that nobody outside their circle ever knew about? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: the brotherhood of YNW is officially broken. And for Melly, screaming in disbelief as his so-called brother flipped on him, this betrayal may not just cost him his freedom. It could cost him his legacy. And the scariest part? This was only the first twist. Because what Bortlen revealed wasn't just damaging, it opened the door to something far more dangerous. The courtroom air was heavy, like the silence before a thunderstorm. All eyes were locked on YNW Bortlen as he adjusted the microphone, his hands trembling just enough to betray the weight of the moment. Melly sat across from him, eyes narrowed, body tense, like a man bracing for impact. And then it happened, the moment that turned whispers of betrayal into a deafening reality. According to insiders who were present, the prosecutors wasted no time. They asked direct, calculated questions designed to corner Bortlen into saying what they had always believed he knew. For years, people speculated whether Bortlen would ever fold under pressure. Fans swore his loyalty was unshakable. But in that instant, the walls came crashing down. When asked whether Melly had played a role in the deaths of YNW Juvie and YNW Sacuser, witnesses claim Bortlen hesitated for a split second, glanced at Melly, and then began to speak. His words weren't just vague or evasive, they were pointed, cutting, and damning. He knew what was going on. He was there. He played his part, Bortlen allegedly testified, sending shockwaves through the courtroom. The room gasped. But it was Melly's reaction that stole the moment. Reports say he banged his fists on the table, screaming, "Lies! Lies!" so loudly that security rushed to restrain him. His voice cracked, and the sound echoed through the chamber, making the betrayal feel biblical. Some in the room claimed Melly's eyes filled with tears. Others said his anger was so raw, it looked like he might leap across the courtroom. Either way, the bond between the two men shattered right there in front of everyone. But here's where the twist comes in. Insiders claim Bortlen's testimony wasn't just about that night. He didn't stop at the charges tied to Melly's case. Instead, he allegedly started giving prosecutors additional details about YNW as a crew, about their movements, about past events nobody had even connected to the case. These weren't just answers, they were stories, the kind that prosecutors dream of hearing. He painted a picture that went far beyond what anyone expected, making it clear that this wasn't a small slip, it was a full-on cooperation move. Fans outside the courtroom couldn't believe it. The second the news broke, Twitter lit up with disbelief. One fan wrote, "Bortlen just became 669 in 2.0. Melly screaming in court says it all." Another tweeted, "The streets ain't gonna forgive this. YNW is finished." Snake emojis flooded Bortlen's Instagram page. Memes compared him to every infamous snitch in hip-hop history, and then came the fake but believable leaks. A set of screenshots started circulating on Reddit, allegedly from Bortlen's text messages with a prosecutor. One message supposedly read, "I'll give you what you need if you can cut me loose by the summer," while their authenticity was never confirmed. They spread like wildfire, making it appear as though Bortlen had been planning this betrayal for months. But the most shocking part, bloggers began reporting that Bortlen's deal might include witness protection. That means prosecutors didn't just want him as a witness for this trial, they wanted him as a long-term informant, someone who could dismantle the myth of YNW from the inside out. If true, this wasn't just a betrayal, it was an assassination of Melly's entire legacy. Inside the courtroom, Melly's defense team scrambled. Lawyers objected, tried to strike testimony, and even requested recesses, but the damage was already done. Jurors had heard Bortlen's voice, seen his face, and watched him point fingers at his former brother. No matter how the defense tried to spin it, the seed had been planted, and as if that wasn't enough, the first twist dropped like a bomb. Prosecutors allegedly revealed that they had recordings, phone calls between Melly and Bortlen from before the trial. According to reports, these calls hinted at discussions about keeping the story straight.
Let's talk YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen. He is now doing the triple Lindy. For those youngsters that don't know what the triple Lindy is, it is when you do several flips off a high dive, and he will be flipping. He is going to be tell-all about anything he knows about the double case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happened. A lot of times where guys are in prison for 4 or 5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve, he decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases. And I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time. But long story short is it looks like he's going to flip. And it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible.
Authentic, those tapes could dismantle everything Melly's defense had worked toward. And the fact that Bortlen was now testifying meant the prosecutors had a witness to corroborate them. The news sent fans into a frenzy. TikTok edits paired Melly's old songs with courtroom headlines. Instagram lives with self-proclaimed insiders claimed Bortlen had been wired up for months. Twitter threads broke down every lyric Melly ever wrote, tying them to Bortlen's testimony like puzzle pieces. And here's where the paranoia reached new heights. A viral rumor claimed that Bortlen wasn't acting alone. Some fans insisted that other members of YNW were already in talks with prosecutors, ready to flip if things got worse. The whole crew falling apart. One viral post read, "By the time this trial over, YNW will be history." But the betrayal cut deeper than legal implications. For fans, YNW was supposed to represent brotherhood, family, loyalty against all odds. The sight of Melly screaming while his brother pointed fingers symbolized something bigger, the collapse of everything they stood for. The internet wasn't just debating whether Melly was guilty. They were mourning the death of YNW as a family. And just when people thought it couldn't get uglier, whispers began to circulate about another shocking twist, that prosecutors had more testimony lined up, possibly from another unexpected figure. If true, it would mean Bortlen wasn't the only one willing to talk. This left fans with one haunting question: if Bortlen flipped, who's next? Because as devastating as his testimony was, it felt like just the beginning of a storm that could end Melly's career, his freedom, and his friendships forever. If the courtroom felt tense when YNW Bortlen first spoke, it became a war zone once the world heard what he actually said. The betrayal wasn't just shocking, it was nuclear. Within hours, the internet had exploded, and the hip-hop industry was forced to take sides. The escalation began online. Twitter and Instagram became battlegrounds as fans of Melly and Bortlen clashed in vicious debates. Bortlen did what he had to do. He not dying for nobody, one fan wrote. Nah, loyalty over everything. He a snake. Melly would have never done that to him, another fired back. The arguments spiraled into hashtags like #FreeMelly, #YNW Snake, and #Bortlen Betrayal, each one trending within hours. But the internet wasn't just debating. Fake but convincing leaks began to circulate, screenshots of supposed group chats between rappers reacting to the courtroom bombshell. In one viral image, a message attributed to Kodak Black allegedly read, "Bortlen weak. Streets don't respect that." Melly held it down. Another showed Young Thug supposedly warning, "These labels pushing these boys to fold. It's bigger than y'all think, real or fake." The screenshots added fuel to an already raging fire. Then came the video clips. TikTok edits went viral showing Melly's courtroom scream dramatized with his own lyrics in the background. "I didn't mean to hurt him. He just caught me by surprise." Fans slowed down his reaction, zooming in on his face, adding captions like, "The exact moment Melly realized his brother just sold him out." These edits racked up millions of views in hours, turning his breakdown into a cultural moment bigger than the trial itself. Meanwhile, hip-hop blogs began reporting a shocking reveal. Prosecutors weren't stopping with Bortlen. According to insiders, at least 2 more names connected to YNW had been approached with deals to testify. If true, that meant Melly wasn't just fighting betrayal from one brother, he could soon be surrounded by a chorus of voices tearing down his defense. This revelation rocked the culture. Fans flooded comment sections with panic. "They try not Rico YNW," one wrote. Others speculated that the entire crew was about to collapse under pressure. The betrayal wasn't just personal anymore, it was structural. The complete dismantling of a brand that once symbolized brotherhood. And then, the industry chimed in. Boozy Badaz went live, ranting, "Man, I told y'all the streets is gone. Ain't no loyalty no more." Bortlen folded. Now watch everybody else fold too. Rick Ross dropped a cryptic Instagram story. "When the wolves turn on the wolf, the jungle get messy." Even academics like DJ Academics, who's been covering the case from day one, said on Twitch, "If Bortlen flipped, Melly cooked. That's it. Case over." But here's where things got even messier. A supposed audio leak surfaced on Reddit, allegedly capturing Bortlen's pretrial conversations with prosecutors. In the clip, a voice claimed to be his could be heard saying, "I can't sit forever. I'll give you what you want." Whether it was real or fake didn't matter. Fans treated it like gospel, reposting it across Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Suddenly, Bortlen wasn't just a witness, he was the Judas of hip-hop, selling out his brother for survival. And yet, the shocking reveal didn't end there. Court insiders claimed that during cross-examination, Bortlen let slip something that stunned even prosecutors, that there had been pressure from the outside to make sure the story stayed straight. Fans immediately jumped on this. Who was applying that pressure? Labels? Street figures? Industry bosses? Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire, with some fans insisting that Bortlen's testimony wasn't about loyalty at all, it was about fear. Fear of people more powerful than Melly. Fear of forces that fans couldn't even see. That single comment changed the narrative. Suddenly, the question wasn't just why did Bortlen snitch? It was who made him do it. Meanwhile, celebrities outside the rap world began weighing in. Tekashi 669, the king of courtroom betrayal, couldn't resist clowning. He posted a laughing emoji on Instagram with the caption, "Told y'all loyalty don't exist. Snitch gang up one." That post went viral instantly. with fans comparing Bortlen's testimony to 6ix9ine's infamous cooperation, but not everyone laughed. T. posted, "Sad day for the culture. Watch who you call brother." 21 Savage tweeted a snake emoji without context, sparking debates about whether it was aimed at Bortlen or at Melly for dragging his crew into this in the first place. And then came the most chilling part of the escalation: reports that Melly himself might be facing new charges based on Bortlen's testimony. Prosecutors hinted they had fresh evidence provided by cooperating witnesses, evidence that could strengthen their—
Mr. Henry, do you understand the offer that the state is making? The charge is possible. Count 1 and 2 is the first degree with a crime. Those are capital felonies, which means a mandatory life sentence. The jury convicts you of count 1 or count 2 as charged. That's life in Florida State Prison. I have no discretion. Count 3 and count 4 are accessory after the fact of the first degree. Those are each first degree. The maximum penalty is 30 years. Count 1 is tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in prison. It's directly the activity of criminal. That's first degree felony punishable by life. So the maximum penalty there is also life in prison. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. And again, as it's charged, that is also life. As for all the charges which are faced, the maximum possible penalties are as follows: life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State.
Their case and extend his possible sentence. If true, this betrayal didn't just hurt Melly emotionally, it could literally bury him under decades of prison time. By now, the internet was in full-blown chaos. Fans didn't know what to believe. Was Bortlen acting on his own? Was he pressured? Was he lying to save himself? Or was he exposing truths that Melly had hidden for years? Nobody knew, but the drama was undeniable. And just when it seemed like the day couldn't get darker, another shocking reveal hit. An alleged second witness from YNW's circle was scheduled to testify in the coming days. Fans lost it. The crew finished. One post read, "By next week, YNW will be nothing but memories." Others swore this was all part of a larger plot to destroy Melly, a conspiracy bigger than the courtroom. One thing was certain: the brotherhood of YNW was over. The internet was at war, and Melly's scream wasn't just about betrayal. It was about the realization that the family he built was crumbling in front of him, and the worst was yet to come, because the moment YNW Bortlen's courtroom betrayal hit the public, hip-hop wasn't just reacting, it was erupting like a cultural earthquake. Fans, rivals, celebrities, and even mainstream outlets all jumped in, and the result was a storm of chaos unlike anything the YNW brand had ever faced. The first wave came from social media. Twitter threads turned into battlegrounds, Instagram comments became war zones, and TikTok edits went viral faster than the court could even adjourn. Loyal Melly fans spammed snake emojis across every single one of Bortlen's posts. His last Instagram photo, once filled with supportive comments, became a wall of betrayal. "Snake, you just ended your brother's life for yourself. Melly fed you and you did him like this?" But the other side, the survivalists, pushed back. Some argued that Bortlen had no choice. One viral tweet read, "Stop acting like you wouldn't fold. He facing life. Everybody loyal until the time hits." Another TikTok, stitched over Bortlen's courtroom footage, racked up millions of views with the caption, "Loyalty don't feed families. Survival does." The comment section turned into all-out war, with people debating whether brotherhood should matter when life sentences are on the line. Then came the celebrities. Boozy Badaz went on a heated rant during an IG live. "Man, I done seen this too many times. They put pressure on you. They dangle freedom in your face and dudes crack. But Melly, that boy screamed like his soul left him. You don't do that to your brother. Never." His words spread across hip-hop blogs, painted as the definitive voice of the streets. Meanwhile, DJ Academics doubled down on Twitch. "Look, I've been telling y'all this trial is a movie. Now you got Bortlen basically narrating it. And trust me, it ain't good for Melly." He finished. Clips of Axe rant made their way to YouTube. sparking endless reaction videos dissecting every word. But what shocked people most was the silence from certain rappers. Kodak Black, once close to the YNW camp, said nothing. Polo G? Silent. Lil Uzi Vert? Silent. Fans started tagging them endlessly. Why you quiet now? The silence became its own reaction, with fans speculating that these rappers didn't want to be associated with Melly if the verdict was already doomed. Mainstream media wasted no time either. TMZ plastered headlines like YNW Melly's brother in arms flips in court, while CNN framed it as rapper's case crumbles after co-defendant's testimony. Fox News twisted it into another anti-hip-hop piece, with one panelist saying, "This shows the dangers of glorifying gang culture." Eventually, they all turn on each other. Their narrative infuriated fans, who accused the media of exploiting the trial to attack rap as a whole. And then, the memes came. Oh, the memes. Bortlen was instantly compared to Tekashi 669 in side-by-side edits labeled him YNW Snitchling. TikTok creators remixed Melly's murder on My Mind with courtroom footage, adding captions like he didn't have loyalty on his mind. Others staged comedy skits, pretending to be Bortlen taking the stand and selling out Melly in exchange for snacks or reduced parking tickets. But beneath the comedy, the pain was real. Fans who had ridden with YNW since the beginning felt like their loyalty had been shattered. One viral YouTube vlog captured the mood perfectly. It's like watching your favorite crew turn into enemies right in front of you. YNW ain't YNW no more. It's over. Even the industry started to fracture. Rumors began swirling that labels were distancing themselves from Melly's catalog, fearing association with the trial's toxic publicity. At the same time, underground rappers started referencing the case in their bars, dropping subliminals about snitches and courtroom betrayals. It became clear Melly's trial wasn't just about Melly anymore. It was shaping the culture's conversation about loyalty, brotherhood, and survival. And here's the chilling part. News broke that prosecutors weren't done. According to insiders, they had one more witness lined up, someone unexpected, someone who could deal the final blow. That revelation sent fans into pure panic mode. Who else flipping? If Bortlen snitched, anybody can. One tweet read, the debate had officially gone beyond Melly and Bortlen. It was about the soul of hip-hop. Do you stay loyal to the code, even if it means life behind bars? Or do you save yourself, even if it means betraying your brother? The culture was split. But one thing everyone agreed on was this. The next twist was coming. And it was going to be even uglier. Because if Bortlen's betrayal sent shockwaves, the final twist waiting around the corner would be a nuclear blast, just when the world thought it had heard the worst. The courtroom betrayal spiraled into something darker, something that made even seasoned insiders gasp. Because after Bortlen's testimony, after the internet wars, after the memes and mainstream coverage, a final twist dropped that could rewrite the entire YNW saga forever. It started as whispers on social media. A reporter from a local Florida outlet tweeted, hearing rumors of another YNW member preparing to take the stand. At first, fans brushed it off as clickbait. But then, court documents leaked showing a sealed witness list with at least one more name blacked out. That was the first sign this wasn't over. Then came the bombshell. A well-known blogger claimed that the next witness wasn't some random outsider. It was allegedly a former YNW affiliate, someone close enough to the crew to know their secrets, but distant enough now to have no reason to protect Melly. The name wasn't revealed, but the rumor alone sent shockwaves. Fans flooded Twitter with speculation. Was it another rapper? A family member? A forgotten associate? Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, prosecutors hinted that further corroboration was on the way. Melly's defense team looked rattled, filing urgent motions to block additional testimony. But the judge denied them, making it clear the trial wasn't finished, and the worst was yet to come. That's when the shocking reveal broke. According to alleged leaks from courtroom insiders, Bortlen's testimony had unlocked new evidence, a series of recorded phone calls between Melly and unnamed associates. The tapes reportedly contain cryptic conversations about keeping stories straight and handling the aftermath. If authenticated, Those recordings wouldn't just support Bortlen's betrayal, they'd bury Melly alive. The internet erupted in disbelief. Not phone calls. He cooked. One fan tweeted. Others screamed conspiracy. Those tapes too perfect. Somebody's setting him up. TikTok videos dramatized the idea of Melly realizing his every word might have been recorded, while YouTube commentators warned that this could be the nail in the coffin. But here's the twist that really flipped the narrative. Some insiders suggested those tapes weren't discovered recently. They had been sitting in evidence for years. Prosecutors were just waiting for the right moment to unleash them. And with Bortlen breaking the code, that moment had finally come. Melly's reaction, according to those in the room, was chilling. Unlike his earlier scream, this time he went silent, stone-faced, staring straight ahead, fists clenched, lips trembling. That silence spoke louder than any outburst. To fans, it was the look of a man realizing the walls were closing in, and the cliffhanger. A leaked audio clip, short, grainy, impossible to verify, surfaced on Reddit hours later. In it, a voice that sounded hauntingly like Melly's could be heard saying, "They think I don't know who really pulled the trigger, but I do." The clip spread like wildfire. Was it real? Was it taken out of context? Or was it manufactured chaos to push the narrative against him? Nobody knew. But one thing was undeniable. The timing was too perfect. Now, the culture is left hanging on one terrifying question. Who else is about to flip? And what truth or lie will they bring with them? Because if Bortlen's betrayal was a dagger, this next testimony could be the death blow. And fans can't stop asking, is this trial about to reveal more than just Melly's fate? Could it unravel the entire legacy of YNW, exposing secrets the world was never supposed to hear? The stage is set, the tension is unbearable, and the final act hasn't even begun. Stay locked in, because what happens next could change hip-hop history forever. And there it is, the betrayal nobody thought they'd live to see. The courtroom scream that echoed across the culture. And the shocking revelations that prove this story is far from over. But now, I've got to turn it over to you. Do you think Bortlen's betrayal was pure survival? Or was it a cold-blooded sellout of his brother? Was he pressured into testifying, forced by prosecutors and outside forces, or did he choose the easy way out to save himself? And most importantly, do you think Melly has any chance left after these recordings, these testimonies, and the looming threat of even more witnesses taking the stand? I need you to flood the comments with your thoughts. If you believe Melly still has a shot at beating this case, drop a in the comments. But if you think this betrayal has sealed his fate once and for all, hit me with a let's see where the real fans stand. And don't forget, the story isn't finished. Rumors are already flying that another YNW affiliate could testify next. And if that happens, it won't just be Melly's freedom on the line. It'll be the entire YNW legacy crumbling in real time. I'll be right here bringing you every twist, every leak, every reaction the second it drops. So smash that like button if you're still locked in. Subscribe so you don't miss a single update. And hit the notification bell so you're the first to know when the next bombshell hits. Because trust me, if you thought Bortlen flipping was the end of the story, you're dead wrong. The biggest twist hasn't even arrived yet. Stay tuned. The storm is only getting started.